Yo, the name is Elpern, and today I'll do some coverage of the first weekend matches I had in the Master League tournament. My first opponent, Jibber, was playing as the Dak, and I was playing as the Brits. Now the tournament format is quite simple, all series are best of 3 and you switch sides after each game. So in this instance I start as allies and Jibber starts as Axis, and then later on in game 2, no matter the outcome of game 1, we switch sides and I will be playing as the Axis. For the ace game, victory point leader of the first 2 matches decides their faction. Now if we pause the match real quick, I'll just briefly describe the strat I used as Brits, and I'll do the same for the Axis faction later once we get to that match. As the Brits, my general strategy was to spam 2 units that are very much overperforming right now, starting off with the infantry section. Thus, the build starts off by instantly constructing tier 1 and building no less than 5 infantry sections. You're then going to want to focus the munition points on the map and upgrade the sections with Boys AT rifles, together with Recce sections. Boys AT gives you all anti-tank you need throughout the game, especially in conjunction with the Recce sections that provides you with vision for the Boys AT to go ham on any vehicles. In general, I think it's good to have 3 Boys AT for each Recce section, and thus you can then control group these to easy focus vehicles once they appear. Now the build is not really limited to 5 sections, however I would stay at 5 if you're equal or winning in map control. Following this up in the early game, you're going to want to get the training center as well as the infantry training upgrade, which improves your section's damage as well as getting them faster to veterancy 1. The infantry section's vet 1 is quite nuts right now, as they get huge performance increase versus units outside of cover. And since Boys AT rifles destroys cover in just a few bursts, this bonus will mostly be active. You then follow up with the medics and the grenade upgrade as a parachute in case there are verbal wind dives. You can again queue more sections here if you are struggling, but if you're doing decent, which I was, you can take straight up to the Crusader, which is the second unit in your composition. The Crusader is extremely cheap to field, and is super fast, allowing you to trade well and support your sections across the entire map. Now it is quite a bit weaker than Axis tanks, but because of its speed as well as the enormous numbers of 80 sections on the map, once it hits you'll generally have a very good chance of trading or even outright killing enemy tanks if they greed for a Crusader kill. For the late game you continue spamming the Crusader, as it is insanely cost efficient. If you're struggling for fuel but have manpower to spend, you don't really hesitate to queue more sections, as with the training center, they will vet a lot faster even in the late game, especially if you equip them with Boys AT rifles, as they vet very fast by shooting at vehicles. The battle group I found the most optimal for this build is the Indian Artillery battle group. This is mostly due to the economy bonuses you get at the left side of the tree, which is what you're going to rush for with your starting command points. You get them in the order showed on the screen, and after that you get all of the off-map abilities on the right side of the battle group that you can spam in the late game. I think it's nice to ignore the Crusader 6-pounder upgrade, as you won't really need it with the abundance of 80 sections, and if your opponent is feeling cocky with their armor, it's very easy to punish with sections. Instead I would be spamming these off maps to keep the pressure up in the later stages of the game. With the build out of the way, let's discuss the match. Now you can see me here continuously checking the player list to make sure what commander or battle group my opponent picks, as it actually shows in the player list. I think this gives you quite a bit of advantage if you can sort of see what your opponent is planning, and I would advise you, if you're a sweaty nerd like me, that you check your opponent's playlist quite often until he finally selects a battle group. You can also see me here, I'm sending out my starting units towards the fuel point, and this isn't really to get fuel myself, but more to try to deny the fuel for my opponent. I think it's also worth noting here, as you can see I have a unit selected and I'm hovering over different points here, as you actually get feedback in terms of green symbols if there is sandbags. And this is something I think you can do in the early stages of the game, simply because the match isn't really that micro-intensive, so you might as well get a bit more information here. And similarly to checking the playlist, you know, if there's nothing else going on, you might as well, you know, try to min-max as much as possible. And by hovering like this, you can actually see then on the unit symbols whether or not your opponent is building sandbags there. And you can also see here I'm setting up my section first with the engineer to back him up after. And I think this is quite useful in general with the Brit, as you can use these sections sort of like a anvil. And if your opponent charges your sections, you can then bring up the engineers and use them as a hammer. Other than this, I do send the majority of my new and fresh units up to face his units. And of course the plan here is to grab the fuel and later on to spread out and grab the munitions points, which are all quite close to this side. Now my opponent here brought out a 250 truck, and you can see him here trying to use the pioneers together with them. However, he does make a huge blunder here as he tries to jump inside of the half track using control right click. However, the pioneer decides to start repairing, and while repairing you actually take a huge amount of increased damage, and I just instantly get a wipe, which is quite huge and is just a massive blunder from my opponent. I don't know quite what he was thinking. It was probably a straight up a misclick, but already you can see here I'm going for the cutoffs and I'm going to be grabbing the majority of the map, starving my opponent of any resources. My goal after this is of course to grab those munition nodes, get more sections out and start upgrading them. I will stop commentating here as I think these games are quite self-explanatory. You can either A, stay and enjoy the gameplay, there won't be any further commentary, I am very focused during these matches so I won't say much either. Or you can jump ahead to the Wehrmacht game and see the initial discussion there and then view the gameplay of that match.
A new infantry section is ready for battle.
We got orders, lads. Lay its heads, quit whinging and march.
Sappers! Eager as well. You heard the boss? Sandbags! Now! I want barbed wire.
It's captured. I don't want to hear a fucking always word. Arse is in gear. Let's go. Present to the come on, ladies, while we're young. We got orders, lads. Quiet down and listen.
Sappers! Eager to shift some dead weight.
Present to quit whinging and march.
Anything less agreed in?
I don't want to hear. Always eager to serve. Shut your mush and move your feet. Pay attention, ladies. Flags raised. Always eager to serve. Head into the location.
Not had orders in your barbed wires down, as instructed.
Nice. And Jerry's nowhere to be seen. Let's take it. Oi! Gear up and move on that point. We're oi! Stop and spread out. What you for?
Infantry section trained and ready.
Come on, ladies, while we're young.
Starting research on a training center.
For a biscuit. What? Halting!
We're losing a strategic point.
Present to the count. I don't want to hear a fuck. Always. Right. That means present to the count. Finders keepers, lad.
Our training center is online.
Can we blow it up?
Right. That means right down.
Our supply line's broken. We have sectors isolated out there.
Stop, you pillocks! Right, let's move out! While it fire and move! Fucking outside! Present to the count. Attention! Go! Quiet down and listen up. We got orders, lads. Shut your mush. Hang about, lads. Take a breather. Attention!
Sending reinforcements as and when needed.
Bossman says falling back. Night. Quiet down and listen up. We got orders, lads.
Positions ours.
Present to the count.
We're losing a strategic point to enemy action.
Got orders to move. So
Always eager to serve. We'll get there if pay attention. Presence, look lively now. We got orders.
Infantry. All nearby infantry will be reinforced, Commander.
Move. Pay secure.
back!
I don't want to hear a fuss. Steady now. Quiet down. Quit whinging and march. Always eager to serve. Finders keepers, lads. Promotion!
Infantry training completed. Withholding reinforcements, Commander.
Always eager to serve. Your ears sharp. Quiet down and listen.
We shall reinforce in your absence.
Head into the local. Hold on, lads. Pay attention. Lazy we got orders, lads. Quiet down. I don't want to hear a fucking word. Flags raised. Always just. Wait a minute.
The enemy has our victory points now.
Lazy buggers. Present to the carries. No.
It's a piss, that.
We got
What
orders.
now?
Always eager. Quit whinging and march. We got orders.
We have reserves of infantry available to bolster our ranks, Commander.
Pay attention.
Come on, ladies,
securing
while
enemy
we're young.
territory.
I don't
We'll
want
risk
to
it
hear
for
a
march. Come on, chaps.
Come on, ladies, while we're young. Come
Present
on,
to the
ladies,
counted
while we're
force,
young.
sir. Quiet down and listen up.
Always eager to serve.
Pay attention. Shut your mush and move your feet. No rest for the wicked. I don't want to hear a
Sappers
fucking
on site.
word. Shut your... Quiet, minders. Keep... We got
Grenade
orders.
packages are inbound, Commander.
Head into the location. Pay attention, lazy buggers. Quiet down. Listen up. Halt! Get your heads down now.
Always eager to serve.
While it...
We're losing a munitions point to enemy action. We have territories exposed out there. Line's been cut. Rifle grenades and anti-tank grenades are now available.
Get it, Ansi! Stand back!
That's enough! While in peace!
The beggars are threatening a victory point.
Quiet down!
Shut your mush
Listen,
and move your
Jerry's
feet.
nowhere
Present
to be
to
seen.
come on,
Let's
ladies.
take nine! That means fucking MG's toast! Pull back to base!
Come on,
Leave
ladies,
it!
while we're young.
Victory point belongs to the enemy.
In gear. Nine! That means you!
Hold on, lads.
Infantry closing on us! They go bleed for it, boys!
Nobody's
Wresting
walking away
territory
from
from the enemy!
Sappers receiving middle stroll into Jerry's line.
We're losing a fuel point to enemy
Pay
action.
attention! We got
Lazy
orders.
buggers.
Lads. Enemy territory!
Sappers receiving orders. String up this area, lads.
Points ours!
What's that?
Enemy
we blow it up
territory
now?
will be ours! Present to the counted force, sir. Rifle section, listen up!
Enemies pushing the line, trying to take one of our points.
Always eager to serve.
Oh, the cost on his thunder! Steve!
Commander, territory is being threatened.
Sappers. Oh, we're needed elsewhere, lads. Let's get to
We're losing a munitions point.
Take it to break! Cover! Grenade on
A new infantry section is ready for battle. The beggars are threatening a strategic point.
Somebody better shot that MG! Gun the buggers down! All the shits! You heard? Quiet down, you wankers! Why I know it's a shit! Pay attention! Securing enemy territory!
Always eager to serve.
The sector is in enemy control.
Rifle set! Stop, you pillocks! Quiet down! You wankers! Get catching! See what we down! Let's head into the location.
Sappers. Ground needs taking, boys. String up this area,
Always
lads.
eager to...
Look lively now! Attention! Nine! Let's move out! Pay attention!
A strategic point is being overrun.
Rifles, keep pushing! Quiet down, you wankers! We got orders, lads. Big man will be Let's take some ground.
We're losing a fuel point.
Wire in position. That should be
We
a
got
nuisance.
orders, lads. We'll risk it for a biscuit, won't we? Recce package incoming.
Sappers, and here we go.
Proximity alarm. Our territory is under attack.
We'll march.
Sappers, we're ready.
I don't want to hear a fucking word.
Oh, we're moving.
In contact! Call up support! Quiet down.
Oh, wait, Sappers.
Pay attention. Shut your mouth.
We're losing a victory point to enemy action.
Always.
I don't want to hear a fucking word. March.
Attention! Heads down, lads! Pass that! Go on! We got
orders.
Enemy target destroyed! Right on the major when we get back! Will it be, sir? That's enough! We'll get there! Pop that empty cells! Quiet down and listen up.
Sappers, I don't.
Nice! Move out! True! That means you! You wait for skill, mark! Enemy pressure on! Come on, you twat! Fire! Enveloping fire! Remember that really line! Mark! Oh, the fucking stop! Run! Let's move out!
Let's secure that position. Drive them out.
Present.
getting antsy. Don't ask questions. Just play the wire. Sappers, yeah? Awaiting orders.
Present to the
They're
command
breaking
ladies.
through us, yeah? Get moving. Back, back. Don't fucking stop.
Report just in. Enemy have 300 points left.
You couldn't hit the broadside of your mum's ass.
Always eager to serve.
Pay attention.
Quick win,
A victory point is being overrun.
Hey, rifle. Rounds? Come on, ladies. Then. While we're young. Rig chaps. Wait a minute. Shut your mush and move your feet. All into position. Quiet down. Quit whinging and march.
Victory point lost. The enemy has control.
Royal, hang about.
I don't
Stop him
wanna
for a
hear.
moment.
Beggars are threatening a
Rifle,
capture
rounds?
point.
Come on then. Quiet
Forward
down.
with
Head into
haste.
location.
The enemy has only 250 points left.
Rifles, take that.
Infantry will pillage anything they need from the enemy.
Territory will be ours.
Like a shit through a good
Get to cover. Attention! Follow
The enemy has pushed us back from our sector.
That bloody machine gun on the sonar! Get on my arm!
fucking midget.
We can't go! That's enough! Machine gun! Fire! Red, cut your mush and move your feet.
Pack it up, lads.
Behind those misters, you shit! Oh, for fuck's sake! Die, you bastard! Shit! Right, we'll get there if I can drag you myself! Right, grab that in there! Get out of action! Time! Attention! Halt! Get your heads down! I've got a belt!
Good as new. Repairs
Behind those blisters, you shit! Contact with the bloody enemy! See what we've got!
The enemy is down to 200 points. Carry on.
Oh, take that! Bloody hell!
We've lost communication with one of our squads.
Orders, lads! Fall back! We got You're not all bloody officers! Will it be, sir? You heard? Your mush and move your feet! Rifle set fire on that armor!
The enemy have wiped out an infantry section. The beggars are threatening a fuel point.
Rifle section ready! Firing!
Jerry's got it.
Crusader cruiser finished.
Enemy armor will dead! Spartan! The bloody! Moving jet! Yeah! It's arse over six! Nice shooting!
You have 3 command points available.
Alright, open up!
Move on that
Stop
capture
again, we're
point!
moving.
Serious faces on!
They're on the run. Smashing work.
Now here we are in game 2 as I am facing Jibber's Brits and I'm playing as the Ver. I am obviously feeling quite confident being up 1-0, but we spare no expense as we pick the cheesiest possible opening for Ver, being Luftwaffe. Let's pause the game and briefly talk about the build and the general strategy. So you open up by immediately queuing a Kettenkred and then equip the Luftwaffe battle group and pick up the Luftwaffe Pioneer, which you should be aggressively dropping down on an important resource node. There you can then immediately dig in with sandbags, while the Kettenkred is going to be backcapping all of your safe resource nodes with the cables upgraded. You make a total of 4 Luftwaffe Pioneers, as they are quite strong combat units, and can definitely hold their own. Now depending on how the match goes, you then got a few options. If you are ahead, I strongly like rushing Fallschirmjägers as they beat every other infantry unit that can be on the field at this time. If you do this, I like grabbing 2 of them, since you're already all in for a Panzer IV rush at this point. However, if you are doing poorly, a safer pick is to go for the Verbal Wind Call-in, as this battle group basically has a built-in get out of jail card in the Verbal Wind Call-in. But again, I stress that if you're ahead, getting Fallschirmjägers and going for a fast Panzer IV is probably the optimal way of increasing your chances of capitalizing on being ahead. And that's what I did this game. You then have to pick up tier 1, as it is required to tech tier 4. After this, you head straight to tier 4, into the Panzer IV, which is also what you're going to be spamming towards the late game. Now you have a lot of options here of what to do with your manpower, but I think simply adapting to the game itself is better than outlining to any build order here. I also like following up the Fallschirmjäger with the Loiter plane ability, as it is incredibly powerful. Then it doesn't really matter what you pick in the right branch, but I would get the economy bonus and the recoilless rifle, as these at least boost your options somewhat. Then heading into the game here, you can see I'm dropping down the Luft Pioneers here, as the Kettenkrad is still being constructed. And yeah, you're basically just digging in, sending out the Kettenkrad here. I do make a minor mistake here, sending my Pioneer to the cutoff, but of course you want the Kettenkrad to capture the cutoff, as you can capture it while it's still upgrading to the cables. That way, once you actually get back to capture your safe fuel and safe munitions, the thing will be upgraded, giving you the resource boost. Yeah, I think this game again is quite self-explanatory, so I'll just leave it to you to enjoy the rest of the gameplay if you want. And yeah, thanks for watching.
Sandbag wall completed.
Craft has comms cable.
We're moving.
Sendra, over.
Build this. Capture that.
Ready to
Online territory captured.
Moving pioneers.
Acknowledge.
We move. Now, quick march. Come on. Moving on, people.
Say your prayers, boys. Time to drop.
They can take us. Capturing ground.
Awaiting. Get those feet moving. Noise discipline while we move. Follow me. We are marching. We are moving out. Fallschirmpioniere, ready for order.
Fallschirm pioneers deployed.
Pioneers looking for trouble.
Territory captured.
Arms moving. Pioneers. Pioneers ready. We're under enemy attack. Rest later. Awaiting orders. Assault the target. Move and fire. Move. Keep them guessing. Retreat.
Oh,
Location
interesting.
secured. Look at that
It feels like he's just gifting me the win.
Ready to scout.
What is this?
Let's show the infantry how it's done. Wait here,
Is
driver.
it trolling me?
Captain.
First
moving
picking
to
that,
capture
then...
territory.
Send word. Over.
What do you slowing to halt? Vehicles standing by.
Sectors are isolated. We have been cut off.
We have paratroopers ready to drop.
Firing at us.
Loud and clear.
Live vehicle acknowledges. You need us? Fallschirmpioniere.
Fallschirm pioneers parachuting on your mark.
Driver.
Point must be captured.
Reclaiming
Oh, that's bad.
Red move initiate capture.
Then it's the garrison.
Ready to deploy. Fallschirmpioniere moving.
We have finished the research.
Point must be captured.
Good order, you sir. We'll raise the flag. Fallschirmpioniere. Fallschirmpionier. For enemy.
Point must be captured.
Out of this fucking death trap! Pick it up!
We can't take losses like this.
Take it home! Right now! Fallschirmpionier! Fallschirmpionier! That point must be captured.
Standing by, Commandant. String up the fire.
Fallschirmpionier! We're capturing
Sector
territory.
lost.
Stop while you can.
There we go.
Noise discipline!
Wondering where the fuck they were.
Return fire! Barely purchasing. Right, men. Right, fall back! Ready for movement! Fall back! We have order. What's your partner?
We have paratroopers ready to drop.
pressure on them!
Scatter!
Central! Over!
Pull up here. They will be fools to...
Resources are needed at headquarters.
We are losing control of a sector.
Calls me.
Reconnaissance runs available, Commandant.
Captain Fast! Red! You fool! Squadron, back up!
The enemy has claimed our sector.
Captain Krat here!
What are your orders? Capture that
Point and
signal command.
advance man! Quickly now!
Dropping into formation.
Need us?
We are at full complement.
The enemy has cut us off. We have territory out of supply.
Rolling. Fallschirmpionier. I want this person to Fallschirmpionier. Fallschirmpionier. That point must be captured. Fallschirmpioniere.
Victory point lost.
We are marching. Advance man.
May have actually fucked
Your
up picking
Fallschirm
the
pioneers
recon.
are ready.
Ready to
Unironically.
now. Ready for orders.
Issue is
Captain. Moving. What are your orders? Wait. Which one of
You fuckers filled my reserve chute!
Our enemy has control over all victory points.
Fallschirmpioniere. Moving to capture.
Put us to take possession in
We
their
have orders. Fallschirmpioneers eager to get moving.
Disperse around the capture point.
They killed another.
You need tools.
Here we are. Fallschirmpioniere
You need
here.
what?
Fallschirmpionier. That
Point must be captured.
it will soon be
Fallschirmpioniere
ours. Captured. Bring
Keep
up
moving.
reserves. Don't stop for him. Capture point.
The enemy has claimed our territory for their own.
Fallschirmpionier, move out. Grab your
Troop transport awaiting a drop zone.
later. Get those feet moving.
Moving on.
Taking hits. Seize cover. Throw the satchel. Fallschirmpioniere, moving.
We are losing control of a sector.
Give us capture. We can capture that. Await, scatter. Fall back to HQ. No fucking surrender. Attack before they bring it forward. Retreat.
We have lost a sector. Fallschirmjäger infantry are ready to repair a draft.
Fallschirmpioniere here.
Initiating Fallschirmjäger deployment. Green light.
We come under fire.
Eager to get moving. Baiting the trap.
Put us to work. Build this. Capture that.
Your men are back. Fallschirmpioniere.
Ready for orders.
Awaiting orders, Commander. Fallschirmjäger on the move. Fallschirmpioniere.
Fallschirmjäger deployed.
Fallschirmpioniere. Orders coming in. We have move orders.
Storm the area!
Ready to...
They won't even know it's missing. Mine laid. Coordinates no. Grid point confirmed.
We must secure that location. Getting there, Ivan.
What are your orders? We're moving. Red Captain.
Moving to capture.
Fallschirmpioniere.
Don't fuck
Ready
up.
to Fallschirmpioniere. We have move order. You need Fallschirmpionier. That point must be captured. We have order. I want those
Fall
weapons
back to
ready to
HQ.
fire. We're ready. Grid point.
Confirmed. Moving
Yeah,
now.
Fallschirmpioniere. Moving. Confirm. Rest later. Safety's up. How did they creep up on us? Stop everything. Fallschirmpioniere here.
Troop transport awaiting a drop zone.
Fallschirmpioniere. Under on us.
Jibber.
We need orders. On station. Move out. Grab your enemy infantry. Deploy. Capturing. Moving on. Retreat. Understood. Captain.
Moving to
We have
capture
orders.
territory.
Pioneer.
It will soon be
You
ours.
need us? Capture that point.
It's interesting. I don't know if it's
We're ready.
good. Oh,
Scatter.
fucking retreat, dude! Why do you default to the build menu? Jesus.
A capture point is being overrun.
Ready to scout. You know how to drive, right? Vehicle advancing.
They won't even know it.
Ready to raise that point. Enemy infantry. Take the. What are your orders? Resources. Eager to move. Watch it to scout. Sure, we can.
Capture that. Men are barely needed.
Fallschirm,
Don't
fall
fuck
back.
up.
What is our assignment?
Bastards have secured our territory from us.
Looking for trouble.
You need tools. Like reclaiming the
Enemy
sector.
forces have captured a victory point.
Order.
A capture point is being lost.
On station. I want
Defensive positions
What do you need?
around the capture point. There's a road.
Territory captured.
Tourney
is ready to go.
Fuck up. Fallschirmpioniere, ready for orders.
Follow me. We are marching.
Fallschirmpioniere, ready for orders.
We're capturing their territory.
setting an anti-personnel minefield.
Keep calm, pioneers!
We wait for fire orders.
Halting! Move it! Faster!
Fallschirm grid point confirmed.
Kettenkraft.
Moving now.
Scouting ahead. Laying my trap. Take it steady, you fool.
Marking the map. Mines in position. Yes, sir. Fallschirm pioneers looking for trouble.
Enemy infantry! Move in, pioneers!
We move.
Get to cover! Enemy
Territory lost.
Back to HQ! Get those six!
Hold that location.
Building! Inside! Capturing!
Ready to orders understood.
Fallschirmpioniere here!
What is our assignment?
They've spotted us! Rest late! Fallschirm, capture that fucking point!
Ready to.
They won't even know it.
Let's move out! Grab your gear!
Ready. We'll stop here. Do it.
Pioneers ready. It will soon be ours.
Fallschirm,
We are losing possession of a capture point.
this is enemy territory!
Ceasing move!
Nine fighting! You touching cloth or what?
You need a. One solid.
Loud and clear.
Now to retreat!
Retreat!
Fallschirmjäger deploying in one.
Oh, he hasn't repaired it yet? Then it's dead. I'm sorry, Jibber. He just got scam-assed.
Conserve your ammo! Concentrate!
He got so scam-assed, dude.
We have Fallschirmjäger ready for orders.
Enemy further ahead! Fall back!
Holy shit, he got so scam-assed from this tournament! I guess he didn't want to win.
Push up! Capturing! Enemy in!
Victory point is under enemy control.
Hit them with grenades! Scatter them! Ready for blowing! Retreat!
We have a surplus of command points available.
Ready to deploy!
We have moved.
Hang on!
Fallschirm scatter! Formation pioneers!
This is enemy territory.
Reverse.
Panzer boys. Fucking stop! Seize movement!
Orders. Advance.
Fallschirmjäger await the drop zone.
Panzer 4 ready! Full speed! Move! Check this Panzer! Ready to go! Moving to capture territory.
Fallschirmpionier. That point must be captured. What are your orders?
Panzer 4 on the move. Check this Panzer! Go! Hurry! Get it down!
Fallschirmpioniere. Fallschirmpioniere. We have move orders.
Panzer, don't stop
Firing on us.
Kettengrad
Oh.
reconnaissance vehicle is lost.
Forecast!
We have order. Fallschirmjäger.
ready.
Capture and hold.
Who is ready to fight?
Fallschirmpioniere.
Ready for orders. Panzer 4 is engaged!
Stuka aircraft ready to loiter the target area.
Where's that coming from? We hear you!
It's gonna be out of fire! Ready!
Panzer 4 engaging enemy!
Pioneers taking
Stop
casualties!
everything!
Panzer back!
Pioneer infantry killed.
We're ready! Follow
Fallschirmpionier, we are marching!
We're ready!
Capture.
Pioneers looking for trouble! They found us!
Eyes open
Return
for enemy.
fire!
We are moving!
Fallschirmpionier.
Fallschirmpionier, that point must be captured!
Fallschirmjäger.
Fallschirmpioniere here!
Fallschirmpionier. Destroy their target.
Awaiting!
The
Fallschirmpionier.
battle is in our favor. Secure our victory.
Granatbyxor.
Ready to deploy!
Any grenades?
Fallschirmpioniere capture that fucking point! Raise the point! Move out! Grab your gear!
We are losing
Men here! Fallschirmpioniere scatter! Fall back to HQ!
You need us?
We confirm. Getting it done.
Disperse around
The capture point.
Orders coming in. Right, enemy infantry spotted us! Move in, pioneer!
One of our capture points is under attack.
Watch your partner!
3 sections now, but it's a tad bit too late for him, I think.
We're moving out. Prepare the position. We have
Simply think it's too late.
Panzer confirming orders.
Fallschirmpioniere.
We're gonna double P4 and then strafe him with an airplane, and it's gonna be
One
GG
of our
here,
capture points is under attack.
unfortunately.
The enemy has taken a victory point.
That's our heading. Panzer 4, get us moving.
Unfortunately, Jibber.
Engines running.
You need us?
Guns are loaded.
Verbal win? No,
Resources taken.
no point.
We need orders.
Not when you're winning this hard.
The enemy has 300 points remaining.
Awaiting orders.
On station! On station!
Move, Klaus. You loaded?
We have move orders. What are your orders?
Fallschirmpioniere. Right there.
Panzer 4 crew on driver. When you're ready. Panzer 4 moving in. Panzer 4 on the move. Panzer 4 is engaged.
Except the puppy.
Panzer 4 Panzer engaging. Panzer's right.
Fallschirmpioniere, move.
Commandant, orders.
Sector now under enemy control.
Stop this so he can't make any more sections, is nice.
Commandant, we have surplus munitions to spend.
We are doing it! Loud and clear!
We have orders. Up the dash.
Back! Fucking back! Wagon, raise 50! Fire! Without it, Klaus! Stop backseat driving! Bastards hitting our side!
Capture them now. Marksman, lifting out. There he's hit.
They are securing our capture point.
Fallschirmpioniere, the man down. Enemy infantry.
Get it done!
Capture that fucking point.
Dropping into
We have lost control of a victory point.
Orders coming in. Moving. That should keep.
Initiating Fallschirmjäger deployment. Green light.
Panzer 4 is field ready.
Ready to strike.
Need us? Retreat! Come on! Launch the tornado! Speed moving!
We have Fallschirmjäger ready for order.
We move! Capturing!
Commandant, you have command points available.
Red Fallschirmjäger! Fallschirmpioniere, get prepared!
Engaging enemy!
Ready for orders! Ready to secure and hold that location!
Panzer 4 ready! Panzer 4 is ready for action. Standing by! All guns! Promotion!
Best done!
Panzer 4! Jawohl! On it! We fire all! Gunners! Panzer 4! Crew driver! Get us out of here!
Fallschirmjäger weg des Dropzone.
Panzer 4 engaging enemy! Panzer 4 here!
What are your orders? We're moving out! Hitting the top!
Panzer 4 destroyed.
Panzer 4 taking anti-tank!
5 command points available.
Fallschirmpioniere here!
Achtung! Das
Nothing can
Panzer!
stop us!
Go! Speed!
Engagees already dead!
Keep the guns clear! Keep the guns clear! Panzer 4 on the move! Upgrade! Panzer 4 is engaged!
Arms control! Pushing enemy!
Enemy forces. They still have 250 points left. We must persevere.
Commandant, fire on that infantry!
Command points must be assigned.
I want defensive.
Panzer IV, hurry! Confirm target!
Get repairing!
Move in, pioneers!
Why can't I use this again? It's not cooldown? It doesn't say anything. Bugged planes?
Victory for our forces. We fought bravely.
With the